If you've ever wanted to know how to get your dog to heel really powerfully and with nice prancy feet like this, here's how I do it. Yes, this is a full tutorial on how to get your dog to focused heel. The first thing we need to do is form a really strong association with the marker so that your dog is really explosive with it. And this involves creating extra value in that reward. So I mark and then I add some movement as well as giving the food. It can be throwing the treat, it can be tossing the treat, it can be getting the dog to chase after it with you. It doesn't matter.
The next step is the box work.
For this part, you do need a pivot box, but you can use anything that resembles a platform, such as an upside down bowl. I made my own. We start by getting the dog's 2 front feet on the box and sharing them in rewards. Once we get that, we start to get them moving on the box, and we use one hand to lure. Try not to use your body to lure them around if you can. Basically, once they're moving really fluently, it is now time to get the dog moving on the box while in the heel position, and we start with a stationary one. So I have my feet flush against the box, and I move Sage with the lure at the moment into that heel position. I can then start getting Sage to move to incorporate the turns. Watch your footwork. You always tee your feet flush against the box so that your dog can read you nicely. You always want to make sure that you mark as well and get your dog to explode up into that reward. You also at the same time want to be slowly bringing your hand higher and higher so that your dog's able to turn without your hand being on the lure until it's up under your armpit like so. Then you can start to get your dog exploding up into that reward in the armpit, and your dog starts to follow it and use that as a target. And you can see here I mark a reward and then let my dog explode into it. You then want to get your dog going without the box, and you need to go back to basics with this. So that means back to luring. Your dog is not going to understand it initially without the box, but they will pick it up a lot quicker because they've already got those foundations. You can also start by doing some stationary positions here where I'm bringing my hand higher and higher while trying to maintain my dog's head position. If he holds the same head position, I mark and reward. I eventually go higher and higher until I can have the food under my armpit. You then want to put it all together so you can basically cue your dog into heel and then get them to hold that position there. So you wait and then release them off. Now we move on to the actual turns. Remember your footwork with this. You need to continue teeing your feet like you would on the box to give your dog good communication. Keep your lure nice and low initially and then slowly raise it up until you can do it under your armpit like so. A quick bonus tip, orbits do help your left hand turns.
So now we're going to use a lure to actually get the picture of the heel.
So now we're starting to lure the actual picture. You're going to basically lure your dog along, and as soon as you get the expression you like, whether that be the head position or the feet, you're going to mark and let your dog explode up into that reward. A quick note that this can take months. You should be luring your puppy around a lot and marking every time you get what you're after.
So you've done a lot of luring and a lot of foundations, and now it's time to fade the lure.
When fading, I go straight to a closed lure where the food is enclosed in my hand and the dog doesn't have access to it. So the hand becomes more of a target rather than a lure. I then slowly raise my hand higher and higher, and you can see here it's a little bit higher, and that is very subtle, but we're slowly fading it out. Take your time with this. Fading the lure isn't linear. You'll find you'll fade a little bit, then you'll have to go back to a lure to fix a few things up. You can also use a different reinforcer, such as a ball, to get it going. And once we've gone higher and higher, we do exactly the same thing as we've done in the stationary heel position, and that is now get the treat under the armpit. Remember, you can worry about putting it all together later. To start with, I'm really after just powerful healing, so you see I keep it moving. Now we're going to start to put it all together by adding those left turns and the heel position. Go back to a lure for this and only throw in quarter turns, so don't try and do any big turns or anything like that. You just want to get your dog used to following you while you're moving. But remember, slow and steady with healing is what's going to get you a nice finished product. So keep it really, really slow. Don't be scared to keep your luring going for a long period of time until you've got some really nice foundations, and then you can start to fade it all out. With all of my dogs, I don't really even start fading a lure until up to 12 months after I've started training heel position. So enjoy training the heel. It's a very, very precise movement. And remember, although the finished product's really nice, it's the journey that you'll enjoy the most.